Hey, and welcome back to Game Talk. I'm your host, Ahmed. Today I'm joined by Connor.
Hey, guys.
And Mike.
Hello.
And today we want to talk about redemption stories. Everyone loves a good redemption arc, right? And in video games, I can think of a few, especially in recent memory, that where games released in a really bad state, they were pretty much universally derided, but they managed to turn it around over a series of updates and sort of redeem themselves. And I guess I can kick things off right off the bat. What I think about is No Man's Sky.
Yeah, that's
that
like
is
the
still
best.
And
Well, maybe second best. It's the best one we've played.
And
It's
it's
the gift
almost
that keeps giving, too.
unrecognizable.
It is. It is unrecognizable. Like I didn't play the game at launch, but like as far as I could tell, there was just nothing to do in it. Like
It's funny. I played it because I was super hyped for this game.
I remember.
I played it at launch, but I haven't played it since. But I bet if I play it now, it'll be a completely different game.
I remember
It
thinking
is.
you were such a mark when that game came out.
Yeah. No,
I was
fell for
looking
it.
forward to it too, and I think I got marked as well.
I had been burned before. I think we even maybe talked about No Man's. I think we talked about Spore when No Man's Sky
But
came out.
No
Did
Man's
we,
Sky
did
was
we have
kind
the
of a
podcast when No Man's Sky came out?
Yeah, I think
yeah.
so.
We must have. We
Oh,
must
we
have.
might have.
But
it's hard to
But
remember
here's the
these
thing.
days.
So No Man's Sky, I feel like, is even more of a unique case because Sean Murray straight up just lied about things
Constantly.
and that was.
And I
kind
still
of-
don't understand why he did it, especially in
I
retrospect.
don't know. I can't speak for the guy. I think, and this is just pure conjecture, like he got in bed with Sony pretty quickly, and I think with the backing of like a major AAA studio,
I think
he
he's
sort
bit off
of
more than he
like
could chew.
wanted to. Yeah, exactly. He was saying like we're gonna do this, 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 and this, but like, and I'm sure he intended to do all those things, but it just wasn't.
He has
realistic.
done most of them now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and he kind of made good on his promise after the fact. But-
It's kind of the thing that like when a dev who they might think they're super experienced, you always get humbled. Never overpromise.
Dude, I remember when that game came out though. Like, I didn't even care because I knew it was going to be bad, like from the get go. And I still I haven't played it much because it's just not really my kind of game. But
It is one of those games where I feel like it could be like a forever game, kind of like
yeah.
to a lesser Minecraft, right? Where like you could just sort of turn it on and chill out for an hour or two.
It does just make me want to play Minecraft though. But like I just remember watching those interviews and that like little grin that Sean Murray would do as he lies through his teeth. Oh, it makes your blood boil a little bit.
Yeah, it is crazy that he just lied, like
Yeah.
bold-faced lied about everything.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
who is
I don't
he?
know.
Todd Howard?
He might be like one of those people who like just have
Peter
a hard
Molyneux.
time saying no to
Molyneux.
things, you know? Like maybe Sony was like, "Can it do this?" and he was just like, "Yes." "Can it do this?" "Yes."
Yeah, but he went
and-
on Conan, I think. And
That game like really blew up, right? Like it went mainstream. Like he
Mhm.
went on like talk shows. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a weird, I don't know, but it got better with that. Like it really, and I remember like they went dark after that game came out.
Oh yeah.
Like they
and
went social
rightfully
media
so.
dark.
You know, like
And they put their nose to the grindstone and they made the game that they said they were going to make. And now like I remember like a lot of the people, like No Man's Sky I think had its biggest week since launch because of people being disappointed with Starfield.
really.
Yeah,
is-
No Man's Sky blew up.
Which is
Probably
wild.
Sony people too. People who
Because,
don't have
like,
an Xbox.
No Man's Sky is not or Starfield. It's its
They're
own
not the
game.
same game.
They're
They're
not the same-
completely different
They're
games.
completely different.
But like from a certain perspective, I can see being disappointed. Like we talked about this in our Starfield episode. Like the load screens really bum me out.
The crashing is a problem for sure. For
Yeah,
me,
the crashing is
Like,
also.
the fact
think-
that I can't.
I think, in my opinion, on Starfield, like I know what it's like to play a realistic space game, and trust me, you don't want it. I played a lot of Elite Dangerous, and the game took a lot of time just to do anything.
Just a lot of nothing. Yeah.
But No
Yeah,
Man's
just a
Sky
whole
has
lot
put
of, like,
itself in this.
waiting.
No Man's Sky's put itself in this position where it is as realistic as you want it to be now.
Yeah.
Like you can like in the settings you can decide whether your ship needs fuel or not. And one of the ones that I really like that you can get rid of is like in the base game it took fuel to like you had to have launch fuel to get your ship off the ground, which I felt was just like kind of needlessly tedious. Like,
Yeah.
you just had to have a lot of this stuff. And like the fact that you can just turn that off now is like, yeah, great idea, guys. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is something really special about like the seamless planet to like outer space to atmosphere to landing and vice versa that you can do in No Man's Sky. That really does a lot for immersion. And they did nail that. Like that was the only thing they really did nail when the game first launched. Like that was always there.
Yeah.
So to build on that concept of like super immersion, I think is where their strengths lie. And they sort of did it again with their VR release, right? Like I still haven't played it in
that's
VR.
when I first played it. Yeah, it's
but like I can
really
imagine
cool.
playing.
It's super cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just really cool. Like,
Yeah,
it's very tactile. Like, everything just makes sense in VR. Like, it doesn't feel like, I don't know if I know you did, Ahmed, played the Skyrim or Fallout VR games where they didn't bother. It kind of like they didn't bother. Like, they didn't do it right, in my opinion. They didn't do a VR conversion. They just kind of made the camera work in VR and called it a day.
it was sort of like a minimal amount of work thing for Skyrim. I remember.
Yeah, and No Man's Sky.
I think that was released on the VR craze too, because every AAA studio was releasing like a VR port of their most popular game at that time.
Those were all funded by Sony, and yeah, Sony funded Skyrim VR. That's why it was, I think to this day, it's still PSVR exclusive. It never came to PC, I don't think.
Oh, really?
No, that's not true. No, it came to PC later, I think.
Yeah,
but it was
it's
much
on PC.
later.
I have it on PC, and it's fully modded. You can fully mod it to actually be a decent VR game now.
Yeah, but you have to mod it. Like, it doesn't, it's, because Skyrim, much like Starfield, it's a lot of menus. And if there's one thing that is not fun in VR, it's menus. And like,
Oh, yeah.
No Man's Sky was also kind of menu heavy, but they just did a good job. Like, the menus feel diegetic, which is to say, like, they are part of the world. Like, it doesn't feel like you're going into a menu. It feels like you're looking at a tablet or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and that makes it work for me for the most part. Or like you're looking at the console on your ship or something. All that just works, and it's a very immersive, very fun experience. I really like it.
Yeah, and I think like I don't know, like going quiet, going dark, and just working until you, I guess, prove the haters wrong. It's the right way to do it, right? Like, obviously, you don't want to find yourself in the situation where you've lied and people feel cheated. But like, and this is one of those rare cases where I feel like he has redeemed himself. Like,
Yeah,
Sean Murray.
and I think most people would agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I don't think there are very many people that bought that game at launch that are still upset about it.
there's
Like,
something amicable about like being able to admit that, hey, we released a subpar project as like a developer, and not letting your pride take over, and just making it what you wanted it to see.
Right, that's another thing too. Like every single update has been free. Like they could easily start charging for further updates and expansions, but they just don't do it.
And I want to say, I don't want this to sound like I think Starfield is a bad game, because I think when it works, it's pretty
not
good.
Yeah.
But I just want to be clear, because what I'm about to say, I think Starfield is also going to kind of be in this category where it, like, Starfield 5 years from now, I bet is going to be a way better game than it is today.
That's like the thing about Bethesda games, is they always age really well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Bethesda, like, is planning on this being a long-term game in a way that they haven't, like, they definitely didn't for Skyrim.
Yeah,
I don't
Todd
feel like they
explicitly came out and said that Starfield is meant to be played for like 5+ years. Like they're going to keep supporting it.
So
I think that's why they added New Game Plus.
Yeah, and I'm confident, like, the issues I'm having are going to get resolved.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm almost okay. Like, I played through the campaign. I'm okay waiting, because I don't think I need to play that game anymore until it gets its first huge, like, earth-shattering DLC or update.
Like, patience is a thing in the gaming space that we don't have a lot of anymore. Maybe it's like a generational thing. Maybe it's...
I do, man. I bought Cyberpunk 2 days ago.
Maybe maybe it's just the fast-paced media consumption cycle we have now.
No, I think that's a good point to hone in on. When I was younger, I did not have patience. I would buy a game day one. If it was like broken to pieces, I wouldn't care. I would play it.
Well, I mean, when you're a kid, what you got is what you have. When you get that game, you better enjoy it, or else it's...
Now $60 is like less money to me than it was back then. And like, if it's truly broken, I'll refund it. If I think it's going to get better, I'll wait. And like,
yeah, now we're like in a gaming space where like I think in our era, like now that we're late 20s, we suddenly have money and gaming doesn't feel like something you have to do anymore. Like as a kid, it was always, hey, your parents buy you this game, you better enjoy it.
Yeah, you have to enjoy it because you're not getting anything else.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to go get a new one. Now, like, if I don't enjoy a game, I could just...
And also, like, another thing, you're just spoiled for choice now. Yeah. Like, okay, this game doesn't work on launch. There's 20 other games out right now that I really want to play. I'll be fine, you know?
This year, yeah. I think that's going to slow down, but this year, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
this
like...
This year has been...
There are droughts, but I think...
Well...
I don't know. Personally speaking, I feel like I have a backlog at all times.
Yeah, but this year has been catastrophic for the games industry with all the layoffs and things. I think we gotta be ready for a drought coming up.
No, yeah, I mean, like, good times can't last forever, right? So
yeah, not every year can be 2023, which is perhaps the best year of gaming ever.
Right, but I think the momentum will carry us like a good chunk into 2024 with like consistent releases, because like even early next year we're getting like Final Fantasy, Yakuza, like all sorts of games. But yeah, no, I agree.
Wait,
like,
what Final Fantasy are we getting?
Remake Part 2 or whatever.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think we're due for a drought. I think the last time we got a drought was, oh man, what, like 2015, 2014, something like that, right?
When the PS4 came out?
Around that time, yeah.
The PS4, because I remember the meme being that there were no games for it. I just wasn't invested. But...
I mean, there were definitely diamonds in the rough. Like Bloodborne came out around that time.
Yeah,
but yeah, I do think we're due. But you know, all things are cyclical. We'll be back one day.
But back on topic a little bit. I started Cyberpunk 2077 for the first time.
That's
2 days ago.
That's a great seg, right? Because that's another redemption story.
I was playing it, and well, first of all, this is the first game I've ever played that I think the FSR implementation is actually hideous. It's extremely distracting, and I see what you're saying now. I don't see it in other games nearly as much, but it's actually really bad in
with your
setup. 2.1.
Your setup, you can probably run things native, right, at 1440.
If I don't do ray tracing, yeah.
But that's one game you do want to do ray tracing. I know,
so I'm just tolerating the bad FSR, honestly. Because it's only bad on like fences and stuff, but it is a little distracting.
FSR 3 is out for select games right now, right? So I feel like it's only a matter of time.
I was wrong when I said FSR 3 improves the upscaling. It doesn't.
Oh, Cyberpunk has FSR 3?
No, it has FSR 2. But I looked into it. FSR 3 has no intention of improving upscaling. It only
what is it doing? Just frame generation?
Just frame generation.
Oh man, that's kind of rough.
Yeah, Cyberpunk is more based on DLSS.
Yeah, and it's the hair. The hair looks pretty bad with FSR.
And I will tell you, it's such a pretty game. It is such a beautiful game.
It is, yeah. When it's working, it's gorgeous.
Ray tracing.
It's the stuff that it works is really good. And I was playing it, and I remember thinking like, how could they stomach releasing a game like this in the state it originally released in? Because it is.
They didn't.
Yeah.
They literally like reorganized their entire dev team.
I mean, let's
fix that game.
Let's recap. Cyberpunk 2077 was so broken on launch, it got taken off the PlayStation Store. That's like unheard of.
What year was that? Was that 2020?
When did Cyberpunk come out?
2020.
Was it 2020? Yeah.
What's 2020?
So it got taken off the PlayStation Store after it came out. Like, Sony wouldn't let them keep the game on there.
And now I'm playing it. I'm on the 2.0 update and everything. I don't have the DLC yet, but you don't need it.
I saw that.
It's beautiful.
Just a little story mode right here. Like, I saw that. Like, all my friends were buying this game. They were so hyped for this game. But I saw, like, the reviews. I saw the state it was in. I was like, you know what? I'm good. You know, like, I'm sure it's a great game. I'm going to wait. And I think that waiting's paid off. Because, like, I think, you know, obviously I've still got Baldur's Gate, Starfield, Zelda. Yeah. But after those, I'm going to jump into Cyberpunk. I
swear to God, if you don't finish Zelda by our Game of the Year talk.
I've been playing Zelda, don't worry.
You got to get through it.
Yeah. I will. That is a promise.
We will, eat you alive.
Because I got to talk about that finale.
I got to talk about it. It's so good.
But
But-
yeah, like
yeah.
I've waited, and I think the waiting has paid off. We've got this Phantom Liberty DLC, which people are calling a masterpiece.
I mean, even
It-
just the main story,
The
like,
game in
feeling
general,
it
yeah,
like uncompromised. Like, I did not expect to feel the emotion, and I'm only like an hour, 2 hours in, and I did not
Really?
expect to feel what I felt. Yeah,
wow,
maybe 3 hours tops. I'll look at my Steam time, but I'm not very far into the game. Oh
It
no,
makes you
I'm
feel
4.2 hours.
I
So-
put 40 hours into my first playthrough before 2.0, and I'm like 30-ish into my current one. And like the game, Cyberpunk's a legitimately good game. Like it is at
yeah.
this point with all of its fixes and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I have my beef so that I don't like games where people are like eating lead sponges and stuff. But like looking past that,
because I'm running all blades too.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm running
But
blades, and blades is so nice.
and they
but
like,
I'm
totally
enjoying it,
rehauled
like-
the systems in the game too for 2.0.
yeah. Now I'm like, I feel a little weird. I wonder if you can access the old updates through Steam Beta program because I'm almost curious. Like, I'll never see that original.
Yeah,
But I
Mike's,
don't-
Mike's
It's
got a
not-
valuable perspective here.
It's like now the skill system used to kind of feel disjointed and not good. Like, sure, you had like a designated blade skill, but you had to use blades to get any of the good blade perks. Now you
Mm.
just have to have the attribute.
Okay.
So, like, if I wanted to respec into handguns, all I needed was just to swap my blade skills over to handguns or SMGs or whatever.
But I've been really enjoying the game so far. My only real beef is like I don't really like the driving, largely because I just don't.
They made it worse, apparently. So it was good. It was good last patch. Like
Mhm.
it was actually good, and then they fixed it again. And now
I
it
like the-
feels
I like
like
the scenes-
boats.
When someone else is driving and I'm shooting, I think I'm having a really good time. I think I just don't like driving that much.
Somehow
like-
they returned it back into boats. Like I don't know how they
Yeah.
managed to break the system, but they broke the driving.
But largely,
So,
like
I'm
feels
sure
so
they'll
good.
fix it though. Like they're
Yeah.
good about that. So waiting again, paying off.
Yeah,
And
they're
it
not getting
doesn't-
any
like-
more
like the
major
other thing-
updates, though.
This is another thing. Like a game that came out in 2020 does not look dated at all today. Like graphics are moving so incrementally. Cyberpunk. If you told me it released yesterday, I'd believe you. Like it is still a beautiful
isn't
game.
Also-
correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Cyberpunk basically like the new Crisis? It's like the
It
game
is,
you
yeah.
you
Yeah,
show off your
like-
graphics with.
It will eat your graphics like there's path tracing in it too, which I can't even run.
I don't have that turned on because
But like high end ray tracing,
I have it on
was-
ultra everything, but with FSR on, and I mean, I'm not looking at a counter because I think that's a thief of joy, but it's well over 60. It's probably
yeah,
over
I'm
90.
playing on all ultra with psycho ray tracing.
Is that the highest ray tracing?
The highest you can do
Before-
without path tracing.
Is
I
it
can't do
actually
path
called
tracing.
Psycho?
My card can't support that.
Yeah, I
it's
think
called
it is
Psycho.
called Psycho. Yeah,
That's
But
funny.
I was walking through this like hallway off the side of like a city street with like these, I guess they were marble floors, and all the neon was reflecting off of the marble floors,
yeah,
and it just felt wonderful.
yeah.
Like that was the first time I've been caught in awe by just a floor.
But I did. You see all that, and you're just like, how could they release this broken? Like, it's like you get 99% of the way there on finishing your
I
masterpiece.
mean, I can tell you how, right? Like it's the
Yeah,
disconnect
yeah,
between developers
yeah.
and publishers. Like the
It's just
people in
tragic.
charge are not the technical people working on the thing. So they're
Yeah.
like, we have to release this now to maximize profits or whatever. And then it gets released in a broken state. Devs aren't happy. People aren't happy. Executives are happy because people buy their crappy game, and they make their millions. But the devs have to pick up the pieces later.
But
I think
I
it's
will say
wild.
this is my first CDPR game.
Oh yeah, you haven't played The Witcher.
No, my only exposure is I've watched the Witcher Netflix series,
Oh, that's
Dang,
not
yeah.
a great exposure.
and I will continue to watch it until Henry Cavill isn't on it anymore, and then I'll be done.
He's there for like one more season, right?
I don't even know if it's a full season. I think it's like a half season. Like, I'm not
Rip.
sure. I just love him.
But yeah, so Phantom Liberty has Idris Elba in it, right?
Yeah, and he kind of nails it. I feel like
And
the
Keanu
celebrity
Reeves is still like in
voices-
it too.
Like Keanu Reeves, surprisingly, he's not even like people would have thought. Man, he's just a little side character. No, he has the most voice lines in the game.
No, he's like one of the main characters.
He is a main character, and he came back for Phantom Liberty, which blows my mind. I guess
I hear he's better
yeah.
in Phantom Liberty.
I really like his role. Like, he really nails the role.
Johnny Silverhand.
Yeah, I just ran into
What a
Johnny
name.
Silverhand for the first time. Like,
Yeah, once you hate him, and then you start to, like, not hate him as you kind of learn about him and get to know him.
one thing I will say, Cyberpunk has an issue where its menus are a little opaque. Like, I have no idea where I go in the menus to read, like, the data logs that I found, because I don't like to read those when I find them, because I'm usually, like, in the middle of some action, and I like to go back. And
Yeah, I think it's off the main menu. It's I agree. The menuing is very opaque.
They need a UX designer for sure to give that a once over. It's actually bad. Like, it's like Super Smash Bros. Wii U bad, but like, you don't have to do it all the time, so it doesn't ruin the game, but it's actually bad. What's another game that's like gone through a huge improvement arc?
I want to say, like, I brought up an example earlier of, like, a game that's kind of grown to be loved.
Yeah.
It's the Wind Waker.
Yeah, it didn't have to improve. Like,
it didn't have to improve.
Yeah, back then games didn't get patches.
Yeah, we
patches.
Just kind of.
So.
God,
we didn't know what to expect.
I wish Spore got patches. That game would have been excellent if they'd finished it.
It did. It got patches.
Did it?
Yeah, it got 2 expansions.
I know it got 2 expansions, but they were like small.
It got patches and fixes, but yeah.
Galactic Adventures was a big expansion, but it wasn't any good.
It's wild what they can do to some games. On the other hand, like, if you let a dev go unfettered with the game, they can actively make the game unplayable.
Yep. Maple Story,
Overwatch.
So Maple Story is a unique case where they sold it, right? Doesn't even exist. I thought Wizet.
Oh yeah,
sold
but it's
it
the
to
original.
Nexon.
It's DevCat or not DevCat.
I thought Wizet was the company, right?
I don't know. I think Nexon's always been involved though, or at least in the US.
Way back, like the OG was Wizet, and then Nexon.
Wizet was the developer. Nexon was the publisher.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. And Wizet's not around anymore?
I don't think so. But man, that game hit different.
Nexon published Dave the Diver, I think.
They did, yes.
That's so weird.
That's why I saw there was like contention about calling Dave the Diver an indie game because Nexon's like a behemoth, you know?
Yeah, that was weird. Anyway, yeah, Maple Story, like, their updates have made the game worse over time for sure. The Big Bang update, in my opinion, like, killed the game. Like,
I think like what they did was like they just distilled Maple Story into pure dopamine and nothing else. Like,
they
all of the
removed,
soul
like,
that
heart,
used to be there is gone.
And I think that's like kind of typical, like, of a game that has gone on for too long. Because like Mabinogi is another Nexon game that, like, it jumped the shark, like, obviously, because Mabinogi was really cool when it was new because it actually had like an interesting story that was like based on Celtic mythology and stuff, and it was like fascinating and stuff. And they did like 13 chapters of that or something. Like, they did that forever. And then they just like said, no, sorry, we're out of ideas. We're going to do Shakespeare now. And like, they made Shakespeare canon in that world, but also you go into his plays. And I was just like, this is a bad update.
That's
this
weird.
is really bad and terrible.
But like that's the thing with MMOs, right? Like, I feel like almost all of them peak early.
Yeah.
Early being in quotes,
yeah.
right? Because you can't, like, it's hard to sustain something over like years, decades, and have it be fresh and good. Like, if you look at things like WoW, like everyone's clamoring for classic WoW, right? Like, classic WoW is the one that gets all the love nowadays. Same with RuneScape. Like, classic RuneScape is the one that I hear about, at least. It doesn't seem like RuneScape 3 is as popular.
Not to beat a dead horse, but like, and they have not ruined the game. That is not Minecraft. Like, new Minecraft updates do not have what like beta and alpha Minecraft updates had to them, you know?
So I hear you and I agree with you, but I have to pose the question, like, how much of this is like nostalgia versus like actual quality?
the archaeology update is certifiable trash. There's nothing to it. I could have coded that in 2 weeks. Like, it's actually bad.
Yeah, it's some games will take what they have something magical, and then they'll Overwatch, they'll just kill it. They'll just murder it. Like, the thing about Overwatch is it launched as a very fun hero shooter that had some balancing issues. But the balancing issues really weren't that glaring, and the game was fun, so you could kind of go around it.
And then they took that game away from you forever.
Yeah, no, not even just that. They decided we're going to make it an esports title. And
yeah.
a disaster ensued, because you can't just turn something into an esports designed philosophy game without killing what made people enjoy it in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, for something competitive, it has to be designed from the ground up that way.
Yeah. And Overwatch never was. It was originally designed kind of as a fun game.
Now, it always felt hyper casual to me when I played it, but I only played it, like, at launch.
I also played it at launch, and I really liked it at launch.
I never liked it. Overwatch, I think Overwatch, I was talking to Mike about this before we started recording. I think Overwatch had probably the best game feel of any shooter I'd ever played, and nothing else. I thought it was so bad other than that. Like, just totally devoid of joy for me.
That can carry a game, though. Like, if it has game feel and nothing else.
It just felt really good to shoot guys, which is why I played it for like 4 or 5 hours, I think. But I hate hero shooters. That's just like a personal thing for me. I hate them.
I'm not too big of a fan either. TBH.
I loved the game. And they took it from me.
It just has too much arcane knowledge. Like, I have to know 23 heroes or whatever and what they do.
I do think that's cool, but it makes the barrier to entry too high for someone who's casual about it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
And then you have somebody screaming in your ear, like...
Oh, but that's like any multiplayer game.
Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Yeah, but like they're screaming in your ear and they're like, "You didn't know Tracer could go back in time? How did you not know that?" Like, man, I don't know. I just downloaded this game 20 minutes ago. Like, we could just hang out.
And I think that's like a symptom of making any game competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the second you put people, there's going to be that group of people who are just going to go scream at you because you didn't know a weird interaction.
League of Lemons.
The second you add sweat to the equation.
I don't know, man. I've never had anybody scream at me in Rocket League.
I think, like, can they do that?
Yeah, Rocket League has open chat.
I didn't know it had voice chat.
That's kind of surprising to me, actually.
Yeah, nobody uses it.
Bunch of civilized people playing Rocket
League of Legends is another one of those games that kind of... They had an idea, but they kind of never did anything with it. Which...
Isn't it, like, more... I don't know if this is true, but isn't it, like, still extremely popular?
It is,
yeah.
but
LCS and stuff.
It is a game that's, like... It's very divisive right now.
I asked actually, you might be onto something. Like, I've spoken many times on the show about my cousin who's like a huge League head. And last time I spoke to him about League, he made a guess that it wouldn't even be around in 5 years, which really surprised me.
I don't think it's going to last.
I don't know, guys.
I heavily disagreed with him. I think there's just way too much momentum for League.
Riot
to just
is also
go away.
Huge.
But I don't know. Like, he felt that way as someone who has, like... tens of thousands of hours in that game.
I kind of agree. They're making bad decisions over and over again, and they're refusing to acknowledge that they're bad decisions for the game.
There's also, like, and I am 100% a part of this. There's a lot of vitriol against League of Legends players. Like, I have seen so many people that are like, "Hey, we have a new bot in our Discord. If you open League of Legends, it bans you." Like, that's something I would put on any Discord I'm a part of. Like,
well, to be fair,
terrifying.
like, I feel like League players have sort of earned that reputation. Like, they're excessively toxic, like more so than other video games.
No, dude, I hang out on a Discord. My buddy Jordan, I love him to death, but I never get to talk to him anymore because he doesn't live near me. And I hung on his Discord for a little bit, but we'd be on his Discord, and there'd always, and this is not this is one story, but this is something I've experienced in other Discords. But there'll be one or two people playing League of Legends together, and they'll just scream over you about their League of Legends game instead of moving to a different channel or something.
Yeah, sounds
and
about right.
That's just how League fans are, dude. I hate them. Like,
Dang.
it's disgusting.
It's a game that like makes you want to hate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you want to hate other people, and
it makes me hate you that you play it.
Yeah, that's why I don't play it anymore.
We hate League players with the exception of if you listen to this show.
No. Okay, you can put in all the exceptions you want. I have not. I hate all of you.
Fair enough.
I have nothing but vitriol for fans of this game.
Put that in the title. I hated by Connor.
Yeah. No. You can take that straight to the bank. I hate League, dude.
And it deserves all the reputation it gets, which is unfortunate, really.
Yeah, League's a weird case to me because, like, from an outsider's perspective like mine, it still seems like it's very successful. Like, because, you know, they have, like, those World Cups and
they
there's,
just
like,
had their big Game Pass deal.
Hundreds. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, so I don't think it's going anywhere, but
and like Valorant is pretty big. I don't have as much beef with Valorant. I don't like it either, but I don't have beef with it.
I have a lot of beef. I have a beef with every Riot Games property, honestly. Like Riot Games, you'd think with the amount I hit, like talk trash on Riot Games that they like killed my dog or something.
But okay, I mean, not to be an apologist or whatever, but they are sitting on something cool. Like, look at Arcane. Like,
Arcane is extremely good. I hated how much I loved it.
That came out of Riot's IP, right? Like, they're also making like a fighting game and like an MMO or something out of the same world. So they're cooking stuff. I don't know.
I just don't get the same vitriol from like immaturity, I think, from like Dota players. Even though it's literally the same video game as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Dota players don't actually exist. They're not real. They're imaginary.
My roommate played Dota, and he was just chill.
Ryan plays Dota, right?
I don't know.
I used to play Dota. I kind of stopped. I kind of fell off.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's just how it is.
Yeah. Kind of veering back on topic. I did want to shout out, and this is a game that none of us play, but is maybe the best example of a redemption story in video games, is Final Fantasy XIV.
Insane redemption story.
Which started out
Did you know
as
that
a
you can
failed
play all the
MMO.
way through?
It started out as a failed MMO, right? Like, for an MMO to fail, that's catastrophic, right? There's almost never any coming back from that. Like, once people try your game, don't play it, like, how do you build that player base back up, you know? Like, that's crazy. Like, there's so many failed MMOs out there. But Final Fantasy XIV, that game turned around and is now one of, if not the most popular MMO on the planet.
I mean, did you know that the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV has a free trial and includes the entirety of A Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heavensward expansion up to level 60 with no restrictions on playtime?
After that, they got another expansion on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they put another expansion, I think.
So that's all free. That is actually, like, I was doing an ad read meme, but it's actually nuts how much they give you for free in that game.
But, like, don't you have to, like, buy the base game and then pay a subscription fee or something?
No, dude, that's a free trial.
Yep.
But you don't have to buy the game afterward or something?
I think you just buy the expansions.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like,
I've played it a little bit.
I know people who like only play Final Fantasy XIV. Like, it's a massive, massive game.
Yeah,
and I've been allured by it at times. I'm not gonna lie, but you know.
But I know
I can't play an MMO.
Dabbled.
Yeah,
I've dabbled in it, which I guess that's the extent that I played the game.
I wanted to play it when I played Final Fantasy, when I played through 15, and like loved it. I really wanted to play 14, and they're just, I mean, obviously they're just not the same thing at all.
Yeah. That's just the reality of Final Fantasies.
Yeah, I mean,
and MMOs.
It's one of the hallmarks of Final Fantasy. Like, the games are quite different from one another. Like, they make sure to change at least one major thing between entries, and I respect that.
No, I mean, I'd kill for another Final Fantasy 15, but Final Fantasy 16 doesn't interest me literally at all.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 16 is another one of those games where I'm like, sit and wait on that one. Let
Yeah.
them cook their DLC or whatever they're doing, because I think they're planning 2 expansions for that, and I'm like, okay, I'll play it when it's all done.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout outs to Final Fantasy 14, probably the quintessential redemption story in video games. And creator of, or the man behind the redemption, I should say, of 14 is the guy who helmed Final Fantasy 16. So
I
make
didn't
of
know
that what you will. All right, what else? I'm sure there's.
I mean,
more
I got
that
to
we're not
shout out
thinking of.
Terraria. Like, Terraria was never bad. It's not a redemption story, but it just kept getting free update. Like, it just got better and better for like 10 straight years
Yeah.
with every update.
There's
like,
a
that
lot
game
of
is,
games that just got better with age.
Yeah. I mean, Minecraft. It also fits in that category. Minecraft kind of fits, like, I hate some of the Minecraft updates, but it does just keep getting content that is pretty cool. But Terraria wasn't a good game when it came out. It was really good. It was really fun. I think I played through the original update more than once. And
Wait,
then
so
they
you're saying
added-
it was a good game or not a good
it
game?
was Terraria was a great game
Okay.
when it came out. And then it became one of the best games of all time, like through updates and stuff. Like it's a top 10 contender, like best video games probably. It's insane how much they've packed into that game. And all of it fits well. And like they didn't just add to the end, they added to the middle, they added to the beginning. That game slaps.
Yeah, it's not often you see a game that like holistically adds content, because some will just add in-game content and call it a day.
Yeah, Stardew
I think
Valley's in
that's-
there a little bit too.
Yeah.
But Stardew Valley, I don't think Stardew Valley is a markedly better game now than when it came out. It is better, but not the
It's not like
yeah.
amazingly better. It's just slightly better.
Yeah.
There's just more Stardew Valley.
Yeah, which nobody's going to complain about because that game is incredible. I just wanted to shout those out. I don't know.
I mean, like in a general sense, like if you're releasing a video game in like the 2010s and 2020s, chances are it's going to be better a year from release than it is at release, just by the nature of how things work nowadays.
Yeah, only a few exceptions to that, like Nintendo and Nintendo.
Yeah, and I mean, like even Nintendo, right? Like Pokemon wasn't in the best state when it came out, and like
It's not any better now.
oh really?
Yeah, I played it the
Yeah.
other day. It's still pretty miserable. I was like, I fired it up to see if I wanted to get the DLC, and I got motion sick and turned it off. It's so bad.
Wow.
It did not get any better at all. And I hear the DLC's kind of mid.
So are Scarlet Violet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Nintendo, like, you'll either get like the best Nintendo properties ever released, or you'll get the Pokemon Company.
Nintendo has done good DLC before. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, Smash Bros. Is the obvious example, but I
Like,
think the
good-
Pikmin 3 DLC was, like, lauded for being pretty good.
good
Mario
DLC
Kart.
exists.
Yeah,
Like,
the Mario Kart
it's
DLC
real.
is insane. It's really good. But then you have stuff like the Breath of the Wild DLC, which, like, other than the Master Cycle, almost makes my memories of that game worse.
Yeah, but all the games we're talking about, like, were extremely polished and like basically
Yeah.
done at launch.
Because that's what Nintendo does. Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't.
that's what
they
they
don't
do.
fix their game after. Well, Nintendo Switch Sports was literally unfinished.
I mean, okay, let's be fair. I think in recent years they have been slipping a little bit, but by and large, when you compare against everyone else, they're the most consistent.
Oh, and Animal Crossing was extremely unfinished.
Still is. It still doesn't feel like a complete game.
I haven't played it.
Are they still adding to that game? I
No,
thought they were
Animal
done.
they
Crossing's
stopped
done.
after the DLC launched. It's unfortunate.
You got to
Yeah,
look
they never
forward
really-
to Animal Crossing
Dude, look forward to waiting 10 years.
on Switch 2.
Yeah, that ain't happening. Well,
Oh, yeah.
maybe because the other one was so successful, but the last Animal Crossing was like...
Yeah,
when
man.
was-
Like after how this one sold, I don't know. I think they greenlighted that thing ASAP and are gonna pump one
Dude,
out.
I don't know. Because it was 8 years. New Leaf came out in 2012. It was
Yeah,
8
but look
years.
at how well New Horizons sold. Like it was,
Yeah.
it was meteoric for them.
Yeah, that's true. But there were other factors in
Yes,
that.
there were. Yeah. All right. So, any other feel good redemption stories we want to shout out here?
I gotta look at my library.
Yeah,
Persona 5 isn't a feel good, but like I hear Persona 5 Royal is like way better.
Yeah, but like Atlas always does this, right? Like where they have the base game and then they release a much better version of that game with like 30
Yeah,
more hours of content or whatever.
it kind of
Like
makes me mad.
Persona 4 to Persona 4 Golden, Persona 3 to like Persona 3 like FES or whatever they called it. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it is kind of annoying cuz like Persona games are so good. Like I can't wait for the enhanced version to come out. Like I got to play that kind
I
of
can't think-
immediately.
Yeah, I can't think of another big turnaround. I
Is
just don't play
Halo
bad
is
games
Halo
enough.
Infinite good now?
Halo Infinite was always good, the multiplayer. The single player is still bad, and it will always be bad. They're not fixing it.
I fix that ever.
But the Halo Infinite multiplayer has always been good. I'm not going to let anybody have that.
Yeah,
The
gameplay in that game is great.
Yeah, they're still like really taking forever to release maps, but there are more maps now. And like Forge is in the game.
Yeah, I don't want to go too much on a tangent, but like I don't get why they don't have like dozens of maps at launch. Like
Dude,
you have a historic library of maps to pull from. Like
No, I cannot think of any excuse for Halo Infinite to not be releasing like a map a month. Like they have like the team, they have the money. Like
no, I'm just
what
talking
are they-
about like old Halo maps. You know, like
yeah, even old Halo maps. Yeah, like I don't get it. That game should not have the slow crawl of content that it has. And that's what killed it for me, was that I just got tired of playing the same. Like, I still think it's one of the better. Like, if somebody wants to play a multiplayer first person shooter, that's probably the one I'm going to pick, only because Titanfall 2 doesn't have crossplay. And, but I just got so tired of doing the same stuff. But then they added Infection, which is really fun. They added a bunch of cool new maps. It's in a good place now, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what kind of turned around, at least in the public opinion, Hitman World of Assassination trilogy.
yeah, I don't know. From my perspective, that went from like a great game to like one of the most quintessential video games ever.
People didn't like the first one because of its episodic release. People really didn't like that.
No, they were cooking something with the episodic release. Like
I agree. It should have worked. They didn't continue it through 2 and 3 because people hated it in the first one. And
I don't know.
think-
Like Hitman fans fall into two camps. Like camp one is like I'm just gonna play straight through and like never touch it again, which I feel like is the wrong way to play Hitman, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Like those maps, those levels invite so much replayability. Like that's why it's such a crazy like value of a video game. Like you just
Especially now that you can get the whole trilogy for $60.
Yeah, it's virtually like endless fun for
and the
$60
roguelike mode and all the DLC. Oh my god. There used to be maps I hated in that game, but now that I've played the roguelike mode and like learned them, like every single part of that game is brilliant.
Yeah, every single map has its merits, even like
Mhm.
the non-fan favorite maps.
Except the train. The train's bad.
The train does suck, yeah.
The train. What a terrible ending for such a brilliant trilogy.
Yeah.
What were they
Let's just have this
thinking?
like linear level where you
Yeah.
can't do anything creative at all.
Oh my god, what were they thinking?
But like it kind of like bums me out that they're not working on Hitman next, you know? Like
I
they're
don't
working
know,
on
man.
Bond next.
That Bond game could be incredible.
I mean, the
though.
Bond game's going to be great, but like
Yeah.
I mean, if they call it Bond but it's basically just another Hitman game, fine, right?
Yeah,
but like
exactly.
they just need to make more of those maps. They need to keep pumping those out for the rest of, time.
Yeah, for sure. That's I don't even know what to say about those games. They're so good. The old ones are hard to go back to, but they're also extremely good. I don't know if you've played any of them.
Oh no, I'm a Hitman baby.
Oh my god, Hitman Blood Money, I think it is. Or maybe Absolution. I can't remember. One of them. It has this one map where you're like going to a play and you can like swap out the gun for the fake gun for a real gun so that the guy just gets shot on the stage and then you just walk out. But
That's
like the
epic.
stuff you have to do to make that happen is a lot, and it's just so fun. It's such a good. It doesn't have like the prep time that the new games have because You don't do it. You don't do a level select in the old Hitman games. It is actually just the linear. Like,
Oh,
you
wow.
play through. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
the old
I don't
ones
know,
are
like
weird.
that, the sandboxy nature of those games, and yeah, we're kind of off on a tangent now, but like,
I just like
great,
Hitman, man.
great games, like top 10 games, I would say.
But yeah, like Hitman Global, I don't think it did well enough. Like they had to self-fund the sequel, I think, because I think somebody published the first one, and then
IOI, right?
IOI made it.
Square. It was Square Enix.
Yeah, Square
Wow.
published the first one and didn't come back for the second one. I don't think IOI had to do it themselves.
Yeah, thank God.
Because the
they did.
episodic release, Square Enix was obsessed with episodic releases there for a while, and they were right. It never worked out, but I will defend the episodic release style. I think it could work. They just never
I think it could
figured
work.
it out. Like the episodic release, I get why they did it. The episodic release for the game with the girl who can time travel, Chloe is in it, played by Ashley Birch.
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange. That was a rough game to play episodic because it was so story based, and I was really, really just wanting the next part of the story. But I didn't play it episodically. I played it when it all came out. But like Hitman, like
I mean, isn't Hitman's like the only game I can think of where they tried an episodic release with like a non-narrative game, right?
yeah,
Like,
and I think it makes so much more sense without the narrative because you're just releasing a level when it's done. Like,
yeah,
have fun.
yeah. There's something there. There's some definitely untapped potential there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to move on, or do we have any other games you want to shout out?
I think I'm done.
All right, so what are we playing, boys?
I've been playing Cyberpunk.
I've been playing
Like,
Cyberpunk.
highly, which it's wild for me to say I've been playing Cyberpunk 2 years after it launched and 2 years after I got super disappointed.
It's
but
just good, dude. It's so good.
Legitimately good now.
Yeah.
Like-
I've been resisting the urge to get Cyberpunk. I know I have so much on my plate that it's just foolhardy, but you know, the new shiny thing always tempts you. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna wait.
Yeah, honestly, like, if you were on the fence about Cyberpunk 2 years ago when it launched and you saw the bad hype, the negative reviews, and everyone complaining about it, and the Crew Cat videos, play it now. It is
It's just
an
not the same
entirely
game.
different. It's not the same game. It legitimately. I'm playing a Blades build, and I've been having a lot of fun just pretending to be a samurai.
Yeah, I haven't even touched a side quest yet. I've just been doing main campaign, but this is a game I really want to do the side quests in, which is rare for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how deep I'm going to get into it because I still want to finish Baldur's Gate before our Game of the Year discussion because, God, is it going to be hard to pick a Game of the Year this year.
I mean, let me ask you: is Cyberpunk now a contender on that level?
Nah, Baldur's Gate's better than Cyberpunk.
It's not a game of the year, though. I can't give it a game of the year.
Okay, yeah, that's another thing is these games that are like going through these glow ups, they're almost like not in the running for
You
Game of
had
the
your
Year.
chance.
Yeah, like you don't get two goes. But it's not my favorite game I've played this year. It's just not. It doesn't, like Zelda and Baldur's Gate are like miles over it.
Honestly, I've been having a lot of fun with it.
I could get
honest
farther
to
in and
God,
change my mind, but I'm not there yet. 4 hours in.
Like, even Phantom Liberty feels fantastic.
I hear it's extremely good. It's like a spy thriller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that. I'm gonna have to pick that up. Can you pick it up like after you beat the game, or do you need to do it like in the middle?
It's
like
like a side
mid-game.
story.
Okay, I'm liking the game enough that I'll probably pick up the DLC. I don't know. I'm busy lately, but we'll see what we can do.
It is.
Oh my god, dude, we missed the biggest glow up in gaming. Maybe Fortnite.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I forgot
Fort-
about
It
the
used
Fortnite.
to be
original
this
Fortnite's
crappy,
trash.
defense game or whatever it was.
Yeah, well, it's not trash, but it's just not.
No
it's
one
not
gave a
Fortnite
crap.
Battle Royale.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
epic
Oh my
battle
God.
royale game.
Sorry, that just hit me. I was
Yeah,
looking
I
at
mean,
my
I
games.
kind of forgot about
We don't-
Fortnite.
we don't need to, like, everyone knows about Fortnite.
Yeah, we don't need to sit here and sing its praises. Fortnite is
Yeah, we don't need
the
to-
devastating, horrific realization. Fortnite is actually really good.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
still
you couldn't have
resisting
told
it,
me
man.
that. You couldn't.
I
Tell me
can't,
that.
dude. It's just
Whatever,
such
how
an
many
easy
years
game
ago.
to drop in with your buds and like have a drink, play games on a Friday night. It's perfect for that.
I
Yeah,
remember
it
having
is.
lots of fun with it when I was playing with people. So in a multiplayer
I don't play it
setting, I could
solo at
definitely
all
see it.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially now that it's just, Looney Tunes with like Goku
No,
and
dude.
Spider-Man running around. or
I'm
whatever.
playing as the
Yeah,
Doom
it's the
Slayer.
crossover game now.
Yeah. And I love it for that. It's so good. I'm playing as the Doom Slayer. I've got a lightsaber. I'm learning how to use the Force Push from Ahsoka. Like, whatever,
Yeah,
man.
they did something. They did something with Fortnite.
Yeah.
But anyway, Cyberpunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk.
Sorry.
Yeah, before the patches, Blades was kind of boring. Most combat was boring. You just kind of click and shoot.
You were saying
Now-
you have like Doom style like glory kills, right?
Yeah, I have glory kills now. So if I get someone down low enough, I get a finisher that restores my health,
That's hot.
and I'm invulnerable during the finisher. So
That's so good.
I'm running around. I have a dash on the ground that uses stamina, and then my air dash actually restores my stamina. So if I jump and dash at somebody, I get basically like 4 or 5 free hits with the sword.
Do you have
That's
the
enough to finish.
the sand the anime thing?
Yeah, I do. I've been using that as
what's
well.
it called?
The Sandy Vestin?
The Sandy Vestin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never finished the anime, but that looks cool as hell.
It is.
Yeah, that's the
It
other
is a
thing.
lot of
The
fun.
Cyberpunk anime, like that thing blew everyone's minds too.
I
Like-
didn't finish it.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I have a very specific beef with the Cyberpunk anime, which is that they like took this like dystopian world, and the story they decided to tell is one you can literally see in real life every day. Like a dude whose mom died because they couldn't afford healthcare. Like that's
Yeah.
just that's just modern. And I saw the first episode and I saw that and I was just like, nah, man, this is just a bummer. Like I'm not watching this. Like this is too real. This isn't a dystopian future. This is a dystopian right now.
So I do have a question for you too. So how well does Cyberpunk 2077 like? I guess what I'm asking is like Night City. Like how good of a cyberpunk environment is it? Like is it actually like? Do you feel like immersed when you're exploring it?
I feel
like,
extremely immersed, but
Yeah.
I can't say how cyberpunk it is because this is my first exposure to the genre.
Well, it does feel very immersive. You're walking around.
Night City feels like a place for sure.
Police will drive around, shoot gangsters. Gangsters will shoot police.
Yeah, stuff is happening like that isn't related to you all the time, which is kind of neat.
Yeah. That wasn't like that before the patches, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, before the patches, the police system, they just kind of teleport to you. You didn't have roaming beat cops.
See, that explains why. There was when I had to get in the car with Dexter Deshawn, this is very early in the story, there was a shootout happening around that car, and the dude was just casually standing outside waiting for me, and I was like, is this supposed to be happening?
I mean, when you live in Night City, that's a daily
Yeah, I
occurrence.
know,
You're
and
not
it-
getting
it-
shot at.
It wasn't even that immersion breaking because that is just Night City.
Yeah, every time like I was fighting some, I think, tiger claws outside of, where was I? I was like outside in the street somewhere, and one of the tiger claws just gets hit by a pedestrian.
Yep.
Like a truck just rams down the road and runs this guy over as I'm in a sword fight with him.
Dude, it's
And
like the second biggest killer.
It didn't even feel like my immersion was broken. I just felt
No, that's just
felt
Night
fine.
City, baby.
it's just Night City.
That's showbiz.
Showbiz.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. And I don't want to
It's
stoke
fun.
the flames too much, but I saw people like comparing Cyberpunk and Starfield. And granted,
Oh.
they're completely different games, but
Yeah,
I guess
there's
they were
just
just
no-
highlighting the complexity and like the depth on display in Cyberpunk versus Starfield.
They're just not the same game. I don't know. Like the ship combat in Starfield is more fun than the cars in Cyberpunk. Like, are we really gonna do this? I don't know. Like, I could find points for either. The story in Starfield at its high points is probably more fun than the story in Cyberpunk will ever be. But the story in Cyberpunk is emotionally devastating. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
I don't know. I
kinda
just saw
throws
the
punches.
the two games being compared, and I wasn't quite sure.
I just don't think there's a point in comparing them. Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to like get rid of one forever, it'd be Starfield. I would keep Cyberpunk. Like, and I wouldn't even have to think about it. But
It tells a convincing story in like a dystopian area.
yeah, but it also like it's not hopeless all the time.
Yeah.
Like it shows the good stuff that still happens in a dystopia too.
I think I recently read where someone says that like Cyberpunk like glorifies the cops, and I feel like it doesn't. Like
I don't feel like
the cops in Cyberpunk are so incapable of doing anything that like an independent mercenary is running around stopping criminals.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
You as an independent mercenary are running around fighting off criminals and stopping robberies.
They're also just super corrupt.
Yeah, like regularly the cops will be working with corporations. Like in the Street Kid origin, you and Jackie are getting like police brutality by two police until a corpo comes in and tells the police to kill you, so the police just dump you in an alley because they don't want that corpo.
Yeah.
They don't want the corpo telling them what to do, so they'll just dump you in an alley. Like, the police don't care.
The origin system always seemed cool to me from an outsider's perspective.
Well,
I wonder how much impact it actually has on the story.
It adds like little bits and pieces to where like you actually feel like you are kind of from that world. Like Corpo V, my first playthrough was Corpo, and you just be able to have like savvy corporation knowledge.
Yeah, it ain't Baldur's Gate, but it comes up, so.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to finally playing this game, but considering I have multiple 100-hour games and Spider-Man on the horizon.
Oh my god, Spider-Man. Oh, that's going to kill me not playing that, dude.
I'll be fine.
And it's not going to be too long either. They said it's like about the same length as the first game, so I'm grateful for that, actually.
Which is why I can't just, like, on any level justify buying a PlayStation for it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you keep talking about it. You keep talking about how you're not going to do it. It kind of makes me think you might do it.
Dude, there's only 2 games. I can't do it.
Now, why would I buy a console for only 1 or 2 games I want to play on it that'll eventually come to PC anyway?
Exactly. Like
the way I look at it.
Fair.
That's exactly what happened to me with the PS4. The only game
Bloodborne still ain't on PC though.
I know, but I never play. I have Bloodborne on my PS4 and I've never played it. Yeah. I don't know.
I never played Bloodborne.
At this point, it's just like a remake will happen. I firmly believe that. So you just gotta wait.
But I don't know. I feel like there's definitely going to be another Armored Core game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I bet there's DLC for the Armored Core 6. Too.
Yeah, I think they're usually what they do is they release. They get like 2-3 numbered games in a series. Like Armored Core 6 is the first in its series of like 3 games. And
I was going to say
be shipped through.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Sekiro 2. Like I could easily see that happening.
Oh, Have they talked about anything about Elden Ring DLC, or is that still?
They've announced it. It's Ashes or Shadow of the Erdtree.
You were about to name.
I didn't even realize that. DLC. Like,
yep.
Yeah, I think it's not like being talked about because it's going to be like massive. Like, I think they're putting a lot into that. It's going to be a huge.
I think
expansion.
Like the Elden Ring hype cycle kind of disappeared as soon as people got their hands on it. Because I feel like I haven't heard anyone talking about it really.
Well, it's like
I mean it was talked about for like a year straight.
It was a year-old game. Like I don't know. I still love it. It's still insanely good.
Yeah, it's still.
I think it's because Silk Song has kind of taken the stride of the game that should come out eventually.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Remember when they said Silk Song was coming out this year?
Yeah, I know. They have to port it off of Unity now, though. It's going to be another few years.
The Steam page did get updated like a week ago or something. So maybe there's
some
hopium
like,
or something.
It started this year with Game Pass coming out this year, within the year. And that TikTok clock's ticking. Because Silk Song, come on.
You got 3 months.
Dude, you can't believe a word out of Xbox.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Silk Song, I hope it's good, because the amount of hype surrounding this game, the devs will get crucified if it's not.
Dude, it'll be good. There's not a doubt in my mind.
Is it a DLC or is it like a second?
It's a full game.
It's a full game. It was originally going to be a DLC. Now it's a full game. And it'll be good. Like there's just it will at least be a top 10 Metroidvania, I think. Like that's the bare minimum I could expect from that team.
The only kind of thing that gives me pause is like the extended development time and the radio silence. I wonder if something's gone wrong, but
Porting it off Unity.
yeah,
they gotta
I
get
have
it off
confidence
Unity.
it'll be good.
They have to port it to Godot, and then they have to get it on console. And
Yeah.
They're porting it to Unreal.
that'd be unhinged.
It would be. They're porting it straight to Fortnite. Don't you worry.
It's a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive.
Honestly, wouldn't even be
We don't
mad
even
about
know. I think we've been like memeing about it. We don't even know if the Nintendo Switch 2 is real or not.
that. It's
I think we do.
absolutely. I would be willing to wager everything I own that it's real.
Watch it be like the Nintendo PC. We're back in the 90s again.
It has to be real. Like if they don't make a Nintendo Switch, Nintendo is officially gone off the deep end. Like
Yeah.
They're
it
getting
has
bought
to
by
be a
Microsoft.
hybrid.
It's over. We're gonna get the Nintendo Xbox.
But anyway,
Or,
games. So, do you guys have more stuff to say about Cyberpunk?
Nah,
Nah, not really.
I'm not far enough in.
I haven't completed. I've never done finish the main story, but I do know.
Oh my god,
like,
really?
The game. The
Damn
game
it,
will pull
IRL.
punches. And like the game
Yeah.
also Cyberpunk does not punish you for like doing things the way you see fit. Like if you really don't like somebody or like a character or whatever. Like I remember I think I found a dude that was making like child pornography brain dances at some point.
Oh, dude,
And, like,
his
the thing
brains
was,
would be
like-
painting his walls.
Yeah, the
like-
thing was like you don't have to kill him. And I kind of spared him. He paid me off and then I murdered him anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I got the money off of him. Not only did I take his money, I took his life. And it felt... I think I talked about this on this very podcast.
You might have. Yeah.
I think I did, like, 2 years ago. When we... I don't remember what episode. But it gives you these situations where you're just dealing with awful people. And it doesn't chastise you for doing what a normal person would do to someone who's the worst.
And to compare to Starfield again, that is something Starfield gets wrong.
Yeah.
Like, Starfield gives people that don't deserve it immortality, and I guess Cyberpunk doesn't. I haven't run into this situation yet, but...
Yeah, immortality's not real. They deserve to die.
On that note,
What have you been
so
playing?
I've been playing many things, right? I've made progress in Zelda. I've played a bit of Starfield. I discovered my graphics card was in the wrong PCIe slot all this time, so I moved that
no.
to the slot 1, and I'm seeing better performance now.
Oh, man.
Just casual PC. It was in slot 3 this whole time. I didn't know. I just stuck it in there. But
Yeah, man.
I found out, like, hey,
Gotta read the
should be in
manual.
slot
Yeah,
1.
I think it should be at the highest PCI slot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where
typically.
that's where I put it,
Closest.
and definitely seeing a noticeable improvement. So,
Wait, did you have it at the bottom of your case?
I had it at the bottom, yeah.
Ooh,
Wow.
ooh, yeah. That's...
And then, like, at first I looked at it and I was just like, you know what? Like, I know this thing has fans on the bottom, but it's basically like touching the bottom of the case. That doesn't make sense. So I
Yeah,
looked
dude,
into
you're
it a little
probably
more, and I
getting
was just like,
airflow issues,
yeah.
I need to have it in PCIe slot 1.
See,
See, that's
I
way more
fixed
sense.
my airflow. You might make fun of me. I took off my side panel.
Just took it off.
Yeah, now my PC's just kind of side
I mean,
paneled.
that
See,
works.
I feel a little bad because I'm one of those people that'll tell people, like, yeah, building the PC's easy. If it fits, that's where it goes. And obviously, that's not true 100% of the time.
Yeah, I
because-
mean, there's all these little nuances that, you just sort of learn the longer you own a PC. So,
Yeah.
but I think I'm in good shape now.
That's an easy
so-
fix, though. Like, that probably took
Yeah.
you all 5 minutes. Yeah.
No, yeah, it was a quick fix. I just didn't know it was even a thing until very
Yeah.
recently. So,
I mean, most of your performance gains are probably airflow. I don't know.
I mean, I know. Let me be clear. It's a very minimal performance game. I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's noticeable.
I mean, I told you when I was messing around with Starfield, I found out that I've had mine in quiet mode the entire time I've owned it. And
Yeah.
I'm still playing it mostly in quiet mode because it's really loud when it's not in quiet mode. But for like not a huge performance gain, but that was funny to learn.
Yeah. So all that being said, the game I want to talk about today is Pokemon FireRed.
What?
Whoa.
So-
wow.
I've been playing these games, like I said, but then my buddy Ranga hits me up. You all know him.
I do.
He's been on the show.
Big Shadow the Hedgehog fan.
Big Sonic fan and Shadow fan.
Big shadow enjoyer.
Big shadow enjoyer. But he was just like, hey, do you want to do a soul-linked Nuzlocke with me? And for those of you who don't know what those words mean, first of all, a Nuzlocke is a way of playing a Pokemon game that basically you simulate like permadeath, right? And there are a couple rules, right? So you can only catch one Pokemon per route, the first Pokemon you encounter. And if your Pokemon faints, then it's dead. You have to release it, and you just have to make do with what you have. So that's a Nuzlocke, a soul-linked Nuzlocke. So he and I are both playing the same game together. He's playing Leaf Green, I'm playing FireRed. And each Pokemon that we catch on each route is linked, right? So if I catch a Pidgey on Route 1 and he catches a Rattata, those two are now linked. So if his Rattata dies, my Pidgey dies. So it's a sort of way to do a multiplayer Nuzlocke. So
how far in are you guys?
We have 4 badges.
Is this your first try?
Yeah, first try.
Wow, okay.
But we're being pretty cautious, right? We're training up
sure.
and stuff.
Do you have level limits or anything?
No. So
okay. I wouldn't either.
The way we were going to do it, right? We were going to say, like, okay, we can impose level limits if, what was the condition? Shoot, I'm forgetting now.
So I'll fill in this space. I love watching these. Like, I've watched Small Ant do a few where they'll just do it totally randomized. I think Alpha Red's done a bunch of them too with Jaden.
Yeah.
And they're super fun. They're super good stream content. They're very fun to watch.
Okay. I can't remember the caveat, but like there was a choice where you could impose level limits or not, and we chose not.
Okay.
But the game is still, it's still like, it's not like we're just leveling everything to 100 and just steamrolling, right? Like we're still playing the game semi-normally.
Are you doing this emulated or original hardware?
This is emulated.
Okay.
So the way we have it set up, we're on Discord, we're screen sharing, and we're split screening. So half my screen is his game, half my screen is my game.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a lot of fun. I have 2 kind of hilarious stories so far. So we've had 2 deaths so far. So the first death was very early on. I had a Raticate that was tied to one of his Pokemon. I don't remember which one. It was something pretty basic, like a Pidgeotto or something. And the way this emulated version of the game works is that like you can speed it up, right? So if I hold spacebar, it'll move at like an extraordinarily faster speed. And that really helps with grinding. That helps with just moving around in general.
For sure.
Well, after a battle, I held the spacebar down and was walking around, and then I suddenly got a notification that my Raticate fainted. Turns out he was poisoned, and I had forgotten to cure him. So
tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time. Rip Raticate and Pidgeotto. And then the second time, it was not my fault. It was Ranga's fault. He was in Diglett Cave when he got ganked by a Doug trio.
Oh.
And he was actually able to deal with the Doug trios just fine, but like he was on a streak of extremely bad luck. Because, in Diglett Cave, all there are Diglets and Doug trios, right?
Right.
And Diglets have a much more common, like, spawn rate or whatever, encounter rate than Doug trio. But he had just gotten, like, 4 Doug trios in a row. So his haggard team are, like, they're...
And you can't run from those, right? They have a...
Yeah, they have, like, arena trap.
Yeah, ooh.
So, like, he killed, like, 3 Doug trios, but on his 4th one... his starter got.
No.
So we are now starterless.
That's going to be tough.
Rip to his Ivysaur, rip to my Wartortle.
Oh, that's going to be hard.
That was
finish.
a huge blow, releasing our starters. But we've sort of made up for it, right? So, like, the soul-linked Pokemon are what they are, right? Like, when you do this, you sort of have to strategize, right? Because you might have something really good that is soul linked to something crappy on the other guy's side, right?
Yeah, so you're not likely to get one full good team. Yeah,
so I have a Primeape that is linked to Eradicate, right? And the Eradicate was good early on, but it's sort of falling off now.
Yeah, right.
And while Primeape is still like one of my best Pokemon, I had to shelf it because it was just too much of a blow for Ranga. So, like, you have to sort of strategize in that sense, where, like, you have to sort of compromise on things and have a good team on both, but not a great team on one and a poor team on another.
Dude, I've seen some unhinged Soul Link like streams. Like I think Small Ant was doing one with two people where you couldn't have two of the same type on your team. So they
Yeah, so
caught a
like
lot of Pokemon that they just couldn't use because like they all had to not have two of the same type on their team. But the Soul Links, it got so
yeah, I mean
complicated.
like we're not pros or anything, so we're not playing with any of the psycho
No, I'm
rules,
just it can get so weird. Yeah.
it can, yeah. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun with this Nuzlocke. One thing that really helped our teams out are like the sort of fixed Pokemon like Snorlax and like Magikarp. We like you could like buy a Magikarp early on in like next to a Pokemon Center for like $5,000 or something, or $500, something really cheap. And so that Magikarp turned into a Gyarados, and that's like helping us out a lot too.
Yeah, that helps replace the starter.
Yeah, my starter at least, because he had Ivysaur. But yeah, I have a Vileplume that is linked to his Victory Bell, so that's a pretty strong link.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good for both of you.
I have a Graveler that is linked to his Golbat, which is way more favorable for me than it is for him.
Yeah, Golbat's fine.
Yeah.
Can he evolve it into Crobat in that game? I forget.
You can't until after you get the national dex at the end of the game.
Oh, okay. So that's not going to come up then.
Yeah. So unfortunately, yeah, it's not ideal for him. And this is another strong link. I have an Arcanine, and he has a Ninetales.
Oh, that's really good.
So,
what about trade evolutions? Are you letting yourself do them, or
no?
It'd be complicated because of the emulator.
Yeah, we can't. I'm sure there's like a modded way to do it, but we're not trading. So like Graveler is going to stay Graveler. But yeah, so those are the primary soul linked ones. Like all the other, like obviously we've caught things as we progress through the game, and they're sort of just chilling in the PCs for now as backup if like catastrophe strikes. Like we have an Eevee chilling in the PC too, and that could potentially come in clutch later, depending on what gets killed. Because that could turn into like a Vaporeon or a Jolteon or a Flareon.
Right, and it doesn't have to be the same for both of you.
Yeah.
That's huge.
There's some strategizing at play here, but having a lot of fun. We're in Fuchsia City right now. I think we're about to fight Koga. So
God, the idea of having to schedule my gaming.
What's
the
up?
idea of having to schedule my gaming time around somebody else's schedule is nightmarish to me, though.
Yeah, I mean, we've only had 2 play sessions so far, and we've already kind of progressed that far. Like, the speed up really helps.
The speed up makes it a short game, yeah.
Thank God.
But it's a lot of fun. Like, this is the first time I've really kind of... Like, Pokemon is sort of a gift that keeps on giving, because you can play through it normally, and then you can impose all these rules to sort of just make it a completely different game, because all the strategy you don't really think about when you play Pokemon, but you do when you play Soul Link Nuzlocke.
I've never finished a Nuzlocke before. I've started one, and I got like halfway through Emerald. It'd be a really fun thing for you guys to do for Extra Life or something, probably.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Because they're just such good streaming
we could do it
content.
for Extra Life, yeah.
Oh yeah, we could do a 3-way Soul Link. Yeah. Game Talk plays. I'm not committing to that.
Not committing to that, but that's an idea I could see us revisiting.
Yeah, we can get back to that eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, Soul Link Nuzlocke, who knew? Tons of fun. So, definitely want to try at least Ruby Sapphire at some point. But
I highly recommend doing a randomizer too, because there's so much chaos.
A randomizer Nuzlocke, or just a randomizer?
Yeah, just a randomizer Nuzlocke. A randomizer Nuzlocke. I think just a randomizer. It's just, I don't know. You can just do whatever you want, kind of.
Right.
Like,
yeah, randomizer Nuzlocke. That does sound kind of exciting. But
yeah,
randomizers are wild.
You get good stream moments where like one of you gets a Pidgey and one of you gets a Groudon. Like,
yep.
But yeah, also shout outs to Leaf Green FireRed. I think top 5 Pokemon game.
Really?
You've never played him, or do you just disagree?
I've played him. I don't know. Yeah, probably. I mean, if we're counting them together as one game, yeah, top 5 for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I always count the Pokemon games together. And I played Leaf Green as a kid, so it's cool now playing FireRed, even though, it's the same game, but it's always cool playing the other version.
Couple Pokemon you never saw, yeah.
Yeah. So, having a lot of fun. Hopefully we don't die to the Elite Four.
Yeah, the Elite Four, I mean, that's a bear in a Nuzlocke for sure.
Yeah.
It's so scary to go in.
Because, like, even if you're like really leveled up, the Elite Four can mess you up.
Even in a normal playthrough, if I don't know, I haven't played FireRed since I was a kid, but I remember the Elite Four being very difficult in that game.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all leading up to that, because like the gym battles are kind of trivial at this point because we have a wide enough roster to like mitigate.
Well, you said you were at 4th gym too, right?
We beat 4th gym, right? So
Yeah,
Celadon was grass type. We just like burned her to smithereens.
There's like 3 gyms in the middle of
the only one that's kind of scary right now is Sabrina, the psychic type gym, because her Alakazam could just like nuke us.
Gen 1 has a problem where like there's like 3 or 4 gyms in the middle that you can do in any order, and so they're not very hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Sabrina, Koga, and Erica, I think you could do in any order, but
yeah,
I think the order you're supposed to do them in is like Erica, Koga, Sabrina, I think, maybe? Or
I don't know, man. It's been so long.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, so would recommend. All right, you guys playing anything else?
Nah, man. I've been busy.
No.
I've been playing walking around the city.
I've been kind of busy recently.
Yeah, I got to get ready for my move too, and that's not going to be fun. There's so many errands, like I haven't even started yet.
Was a nightmare moving. Like, I thought my house was almost empty, and so I like gathered my family there last Saturday to like finish emptying it out. And there was just so much trash that we had to bag up and leave outside. Like, because I downsized. So it was a nightmare, dude. It was so hard. It was so much work. I felt really bad because I didn't realize how much it was going to be.
Yeah, that's
not looking forward to that.
You're like, oh, I'm done moving. Everything's packed. And then you get around to it. And you're like, oh, wait.
Dude, low-key, I haven't unloaded my car yet. My car is still full of stuff right now.
Wow.
Like low priority stuff, like an old monitor, an old TV, stuff that I really would not want to get stolen. But luckily my car is in a lockup here that doesn't get messed with.
Yeah, and it's not only like the moving itself. Like I have to do lots of logistical stuff, like get renter's insurance and like get the internet set up, and like all that stuff is just sort of annoying, and I don't want to deal with it. But
you gotta forward your mail. I still haven't done that.
Oh yeah, that too.
Are you moving to a different state?
No.
Okay, I'm moving to a different state, so I need to get a new license and a new registration for my car. I haven't done either of those yet either.
Yeah. Fun stuff being an adult.
Yep.
But it is nice. Like, I don't know, dude. You were in for a treat living somewhere you can walk around. It is.
I'm excited. Yeah.
It's like vacation all the time. That's everybody who's visited me says it feels like they're on vacation, and it feels like that for me too. It's just so nice.
I think I'll pay a visit to you in January.
Okay. Yeah.
For
game's done quick. Yeah. I got an air mattress.
Yeah, I might be up there for a little bit. Don't know how long I'll be at AGDQ. I'm kind of like tossed between doing the entire week or doing like a day or two.
You're gonna have to pay for parking somewhere because I don't have parking.
I don't have a car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent point.
It's just conning someone I know.
AGDQ might be kind of spicy this year, right? Because they did you guys see they recently discovered like a massive skip for Super Mario 64, like 120 star?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's like a huge breakthrough that could shave off like 50 seconds.
We could get a world record at GDQ on Super Mario 64.
That'd be wild.
Yeah,
that would be wild.
I mean, frequent viewers of the show would know my interest in speedrunning.
Yeah, I mean, mine
it's fun to watch.
I was a 64 runner for a little bit there.
I never ran a speedrun, but I enjoy watching them.
Dude, the 16 star, I miss the golden age of the 16 star when like Northern Lion was doing them, and a couple other people were like, a lot of streamers were just running 16 star for some reason.
Yeah,
I missed that, dude. That was so.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun to watch.
I still rewatch those streams sometimes, the VODs.
You do it.
All right. Thank you all for listening. You can follow us at Podcast Game Talk on Twitter. Please like, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, or any other podcast services you use. Click the link in the description to join our Discord and talk to us there. Thank you, Connor and Mike.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
See you next week. Bye.